Welcome into this week's edition of the Weather Hangout, and actually the last episode of 2022. And of course, we have Chief Meteorologist Chris Vickers and meteorologist Diane Phillips joining us this week.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you next year then.
Yeah.
Of course,
If
we're
this
all
is the
coming
last
back.
one of the year.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to be with you guys. Of course, a lot of busy weather this time of the year. And if you're joining us on WTOL 11 Plus or on YouTube, lots to talk about with an upcoming winter storm. But how are you guys doing?
Good.
I think we're all busy. I think that's fair to say. Even, everybody is talking about the weather, not just us. I feel like this is like the week of the hangout. Everybody's talking about the weather.
Well, what is one thing that you guys and just about everybody else was wishing for this week? What were we wishing for?
White Christmas.
White Christmas.
Yep.
Especially says the guy from down south. So, Matt, spoiler alert, is it going to happen this year?
It is going to happen, and we'll talk about that more in a few minutes as well, but it is definitely happening. That's not only thing like weather, but also we got the holidays that's coming up too.
Yeah.
So it's a busy week.
Yeah, I was just going to say a busy week. A lot of people prepping for the storm, prepping for the holidays. And I know some people have said, hey, can you just, time this out a little bit differently? So anybody got the magic to move this?
I wish we could. Quite a large storm system that's going to be impacting our area. And one thing I love about this time of the year, and maybe it's friends and family getting together, or it's loved ones coming in and traveling from afar and rejoining friends and family back here at home. And if you are back here at home, welcome back. And it's a really great honor to have you along for this week's Weather Hangout. So what are we going to be talking about this week? Now that we're all in the festive holiday spirit, we know that we're going to be delivering on a white Christmas. So we've checked a few boxes, and we're going to be talking a winter storm that's going to be ahead this week, Matt.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be, with the Weather Hangout is the deep dive into the winter storm. So we'll be able to deep dive into everything, all the specifics about this upcoming winter storm, from temperatures to the winds, and just breaking down the timing of it all.
And Diane, so far this winter, we haven't had winter yet, right? It's been a really mild start to December. Barely a lick of snowfall this entire season, and that's about to change in some respects.
Yes, of course, we've been combing through the data this week, but sure, we've had some snowflakes and maybe a light dusting, but nothing that's really met this just yet. So we're of course going to be keeping an eye to things. We've been checking the data all this week because
lots of data.
This has been catching our attention. I even got a little bit of a buzz on my watch, some new information coming from the National Weather Service.
Right.
We've been waiting for that. So of course we are watching this all the time, whether it's on our phones, on our watches. So it's kind of fun to have, on the TV. So it's kind of happy to have everybody kind of joining us so we can kind of like nerd out and all the talks that we've had, just kind of have everybody invited to the table, we'll say.
And that's our goal, to keep you entertained and informed wherever you're watching, WTOL 11 Plus or on YouTube. We appreciate you being along. Matt, how about our first weather fun fact of the day as we get things rolling?
Yeah. Just see if you can answer this question real quick.
I do remember that one, 2020. Many of us, of course, that COVID year were on lockdown anyways. It was a beautiful light snow that was falling. All right, this year, let's put the travel timeline to the test. Now, we do expect that if you do need to make travel plans, you got to do it Thursday evening before things get really slippery. It's going to happen very early Friday morning. I'm talking just a few hours after midnight. We've got an Arctic front that's going to plunge into the area. Things are going to go from caution on the roadways to our advice that you just shouldn't be traveling by the time we reach mid-morning Friday and through Friday afternoon. Travel conditions are going to deteriorate. Watch this as well. Temperatures are going to plunge, maybe holding just a few degrees above zero through Friday afternoon. Wind chills of about 20 to 30 below zero. And that's going to create really dangerous conditions, to be honest, if you have long distance travel plans or if you're expected to go into rural areas, especially after dark Friday night. It's going to be our advice. Shouldn't be out on the roadways as we could get widespread blowing and drifting of snow. Now, we've been very clear with this system. It is not going to be a major snow snowstorm. Snow is not a big element. It is the wind and it is the bitter cold wind chills. And we'll have more on both of those with meteorologist Matt Willoughby and meteorologist Diane Phillips in just a little bit. So when could we give you the clearance that things will be improving? Some of the data indicating it's earlier and earlier on Saturday. I'm going to say by about early afternoon, conditions will be improving. Roads will be icy. It's still going to be cold. But if you take your time and travel with caution, Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening could be the time to do that one. So some basic details about our alert days. Friday and Saturday, accumulating snow, not a big amount. We're talking minor accumulations in the big scheme of things. Winds gusting 50 to 55 miles per hour and temperatures that will be plunging. And I do expect those high winds maybe topping 55 miles per hour. Now, I do anticipate this storm system, we've been watching it now, starting to take shape across the southern plains, and it is going to boomerang into our area. And brand new information that's come into to the region. We've got winter storm warnings from the central and southern plains now all the way into northern Ohio. And check this out, blizzard warnings from northern Indiana all the way across western Michigan and into the northern third of Michigan. Additional blizzard warnings from Iowa up into Minnesota. So a very large storm system. It's going to bring a whole lot of wind. Wind gusts to 50 to 55 miles per hour. Do want you to be prepared at least for the potential. Some power outages could result. We'll say near blizzard conditions and extreme wind chills that may dip to 25 to 30 below zero. Winter storm totals. Again, it is not going to be a big snowmaker. 2 to 4 inches of an accumulation for the vast majority of our viewing area. Where we will get a higher pocket of snow, that is north and west of the Toledo metro, specifically Hillsdale, parts of Lenawee County, northern Fulton County, and into Williams County. Your best chance of some higher end totals. This storm system going to come rocketing into the area. Here's Thursday night, 8 p.m. It is still in the form of rain across our area. A sharp Arctic front, though, that plunges in is going to bring much colder weather, and I do expect that colder weather that is going to come with snow and likely accumulating snow as we go through Friday morning and into Friday afternoon. That accumulating snow is going to be blowing and it will be drifting across the areas. This storm system does pivot around and continue to bring very windy and cold weather into the picture. And I do expect that that snow will continue as we go into Friday evening. Those higher wind gusts also going to be a big issue. And I do expect we're going to have more on that with meteorologist Matt Willoughby and what it means for wind chill. Matt, it's going to be a harsh feel.
Yeah, it's going to be a harsh feel. So we're going to be pretty much explaining what exactly wind chill is. So, of course, our body acts as a bit of a protection from that cold, and you may lose body heat through something that's called convection. So as we look at it, as we look at temperatures, if there are just around 20 degrees, this is a scenario that we have, and no wind, well, your body kind of acts as a bit of a coating with that heat, with one layer of heat coating of your body. But hey, if we add wind to the profile, well, you could lose that layer of heating with the wind as well. So if it's winning, well, you could break up that layer of insulating warm layer in your body, and that's when the wind chill can kind of make you feel a little bit colder. So with the wind chill and possibly even just 20-mile-per-hour winds, well, that temperature could go from feeling like 20 degrees all the way down to 4 degrees. So it can easily feel a lot colder outside than what it usually feels. We do have just about 20-mile-per-hour winds. So what we're expected to see as to take you through that hour-by-hour forecast for us, well, as we look at it, just around 11 p.m. on Thursday, you can tell those winds. You can see that sharp cold front that be rolling through. So we see those wind speeds go from 19 all the way to 34 in just a couple of hours. But it gets even windier. As we go into Friday morning, those wind speeds will pick up even more. You see 37 in Indianapolis, Toledo, just around 43. And even as we head into Friday around 11 a.m., we could see wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. So like I said, that layer of warmth may be gone away, with those feel-like temperatures possibly dropping down into the single digits. We also have meteorologist Diane Phillips to break down how cold it will get as we head into Thursday, Friday, and even into Saturday. Diane?
We are taking a plunge as far as these temperatures that we're expecting, and those winds that Matt was talking about definitely just going to kind of just add another layer on. And that's what we're going to be doing with our coats, sweatshirts, adding layers on because while we're doing this, our temperatures are sitting into the 30s. But as we head into Thursday, we're actually going to find a little bit of a warm surge to move in, taking temperatures into the upper 30s, if not into the 40s. And that's going to be right up until midnight. And then we switch over to Friday. Once that clock strikes 12 and we head into Friday, temperatures are going to change drastically and pretty quick too. You are going to find at midnight just above that freezing mark, but then in a mere 4 hours, we are down into the teens and air temperatures then even into the single digits. That's just air temperatures alone, and single digits, that's just frigid at that point. So that doesn't even include that wind chill that Matt was talking about. But some of the numbers that we're anticipating from those wind chills to come, you will find this is starting out on Thursday. Well, it's going to feel like winter outside. But then when we kind of fast forward, here comes that Arctic front that's going to be moving those freezing temperatures out and bringing in that cold, frigid air. This is even before we're out of Thursday, and we're still finding wind chills that are going to be ramping up as those winds do, to where it's going to at times feel like we're into the teens, the single digits. If not, by the time we head into Friday morning, we are going to be feeling like we're negative 20 degrees outside, even 25 degrees below. I wouldn't be surprised if we could even find a location that registers close to negative 30 or 30 below. And that's going to be, though, for much of Friday morning and even through the day on Friday, not much of a warm up. But once we bottom out with these temperatures on Friday, we are going to hold here. So just keep that in mind. If you are going to try to travel and potentially get stranded, you could be facing temperatures like this along with the slippery conditions. So that's just something to keep in mind, because these frigid impacts, they are impactful. That bitter cold with wind chills well below zero, that's just downright cold, and something that we don't always work with here in Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan. And also your health. Maybe you're going to be out there trying to, well, clean things up a little bit. If that's the case, you're going to want to just wait, because frostbite on exposed skin, so even that little piece of your cheek that you don't have covered, it's only going to take 10 minutes that you could start to feel the effects of frostbite. So just make sure hats, gloves, you're all wrapped up. And if you can, just avoid going outside till we can finally get those winds to settle down. Then safety. With frigid temperatures like this, it will be a flash freeze. Any rainfall that we have before, anything that's wet, it's going to just ice over immediately. So it will not be falling as ice, but it's going to be a blanket of icy conditions to go along with the snow that'll take over. But that also, though, means for our roadways, it's a safety hazard, as that salt, it's going to have a little bit of trouble working in temperatures like that. So there's a lot to keep in mind, just as far as the temperatures, the wind element in this, and then the snow part. Of course, there's a lot to keep an eye to, and that's what we will be doing, the WTOL 11 weather team. Of course, we'll also have those updates on the WTOL 11 weather app. But that was a really huge recap of the storm that we are watching for those alert days that we have for Friday and Saturday. But it's about time to have a little bit of fun. So let's go to a quick weather fact, and then we'll wrap this up with a little bit of that holiday festive fun. That was a big storm.
Yeah. I feel like I need a deep breath, and we hope you take a deep breath as well. Relax. We're here to inform you and get you prepared for what is ahead. So we took the deep dive, and now we can kind of just sit back and relax and stay safe over the holiday season.
Yes.
Exactly, and snow can be fun as well. And
That's the plan, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if you or at least a dog lover, we got some of that for you right now. Check out this video of some of those dogs all across the country, kind of enjoying the snow out there, just out in Colorado. This is just a quick video of just kind of playing in the
Look at
snow.
that snow. The dog can't even jump through it.
Looks like a St. Bernard even, and those are big dogs.
Yes.
That's no Chihuahua
So, yes, exactly.
I'm not a dog expert, but I could tell it's not a Chihuahua jumping through that snow.
Yeah.
I mean, they had feet of snow.
Yeah,
Feet.
Love it.
Yes, but I'm glad somebody's, enjoying that. Oh, and there's another
got another
one.
one. Well, this dog, at least, is trying to eat the snowflakes.
Hey, I do that too. I'm not judging.
You gotta taste them. You gotta see what it tastes like, what kind of flavor of snow we
Yeah.
have. But, yeah, it's cold. And, of course, it's kind of like going and getting those milkshakes when you drive through.
Peppermint milkshake.
Yeah.
from Chick-fil-A.
I don't think we get peppermint flavors now. Maybe we can start forecasting that.
Yeah.
That would be a whole nother level. Okay, maybe I'm going off the rails here.
Very good.
I
That's
got
what
my
we-
ice cream
That's
in there.
what we do. We got sweets and treats on our mind. And hey, that's okay. Don't judge. Really appreciate everyone being with us today. But before we go on and leave you to your holidays, we got to talk a little holiday spirits.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, I asked meteorologist John Birchfield this question a couple of weeks ago, but I had to ask Chief Meteorologist Chris Vickers
What you got for me?
Diane Phillips. So, I have a ask. What is your favorite Christmas movie? I know there's a lot of them, and we can pull it up right here on the
There's
van.
a lot. Yeah. Okay, so
we got.
do we
got a
just have to
few,
pick
yeah.
from these?
I mean, you can pick from these, or you can pick from
Okay.
our list, but just a general one that you can pick for us.
This is a healthy list.
Yeah, it's
let
a
me
good-
let me
Yeah.
take a
It's a
quick
good
run
list.
through. All right, so we got Home Alone. We've got Elf.
Elf.
A classic Christmas story. The Grinch.
Grinch.
Now, okay, is the Grinch the original cartoon version or the Jim Carrey
We're just gonna
Good
go the
question.
wide version, but
You get to
Okay.
pick.
Either one, you
I
get to pick. Yeah.
And It's a Wonderful Life teaches such a great message, and Charlie Brown Christmas.
I don't see any Hallmark movies on here. And you know that's my movie.
Yeah, no, Diane is a huge fan. when it comes to
Yeah.
Hallmark.
So none of my
I'm
favorites
sorry.
are on here. No, I'm teasing. These are all good.
I'll try to
go
put one
first.
next time.
This is really kind of twisting me because I want to go a few different ways. It's like trying to pick your favorite child. You just can't do that.
Hopefully your kids aren't watching.
If they are, I love you both. All right.
Yes.
We're gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Elf. I
okay.
love Elf. I just think
a good movie.
that Will Ferrell was just spectacular
Yeah.
in that movie. Just too funny.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go with Christmas Story.
Chris?
Okay.
It just, I busted gut through the whole thing.
Right.
There's a lot of good one-liners in it. Oh my goodness. I just think the memories of watching it with family and laughing, that's
just-
really what sells it.
Yeah.
Of course the storyline's there, but the memories, and that's the other. But there's a lot of good ones. Did
There's
you
a lot
have a
of good
close
ones.
number
It's
two?
a Wonderful Life is so good too. I watch it every single year.
Kim-
Watch it with the kids and the family.
Confession, I've never seen that one.
Oh, okay. We're gonna have to change that.
I
All right.
know.
Confession is what I've never seen.
Okay. So
sorry, Chris.
when the storm is done, we'll be watching movies. Because then we'll have some time to watch movies.
I hope you two get snowed in this weekend and you watch extra movies. You're gonna have to do
Yeah,
that one.
we'll find it. It's
I do
streaming
need to
everywhere.
file a petition to the committee, though. There is one
Okay.
movie missing from here that I would have put right up there at the top as well. Christmas Vacation.
Yes,
I don't
that's
think I've
another
seen
big
that one
one. Yeah. Oh,
I got a to-do list.
We're about to
Yes.
put
I
up
got another checklist.
We're about to roll the credits right now. You've even seen that one too, Matt Willoughby.
Oh, man.
I have seen that one. I have seen Christmas Vacation.
That's
just
good.
to, kind of help this out here.
Well, hopefully you have some time to catch up on some movies over the course of the holiday break. Of course, you can check in on more weather hangouts that will continue in 2023.
Yes.
It's hard to say it, but it's hard
really
to believe
is.
it's already
It'll be the new
almost there.
normal.
We appreciate you joining us, though, for this week's Weather Hangout. Of course, with the impending wintry weather, we want you to stay safe, and we wish you all the best this holiday season. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas. From meteorologist Matt Willoughby, Diane Phillips, Chief Meteorologist Chris Vickers, have a great holiday season.